Hey, it's me, unapologetically T, and for a long time I've been trying to figure out whether I wanted to tell this story, but I knew I wanted to tell it. I just didn't know. It's a delicate story, and I don't want to. I don't know. I'm just so kind-hearted. I've told the story to people who were close to me, but like I don't like making people look bad, so dead's dead. That's what's been a hold up. But it's time to tell this story. This story um has many versions and legs, and was told all across the land of the 804. And I really didn't get to put my input in it, besides two family members. Um but yeah, my name was dragged in the mud, and I was accused of a lot of things like defamation to the max. And so I still didn't even push no issues and try to get no legal stuff involved, even though I could have. Just not my personality. But from this day forward, baby, I if I need to sue, I will sue. Because we're just not gonna do that no more. But I wanted to tell this story because I've been seeing a lot online of people struggling with family and whether to still deal with your family or not. If you have endured abuse or like lifelong jealousy and attacks. And so I just want to tell this story too because it depicts me being a coward. You might want to say like, well, how was you a coward in this story? But I'll definitely be understand. I mean, I would definitely be breaking down how I had cowardice behavior in this story. But I wanted to tell this story because there are actually two times in my life that well, there's actually three times in my life. No, there was multiple times in my life. But there was two times in my life where actual family literally tried to give me a record. And I find it, disturbing in a sense, but I'm not surprised. And unfortunately, both of them were my sisters. So two separate sisters. One of them is deceased now, and her story is short and sweet. But me and my sister on my mom's side, we've always had this tumultuous relationship. And now that I'm like grown, and I was kind of grown then too, like I had my child, but it was still a lot of hurt and pain from things she had did to me, her kids, and my mom, that I was harboring. So like I never really like forgave her. And I would say this, I had forgiven her multiple times as a kid, but once she kept doing repeated damage, like I began to hold on to every little thing she did and held it against her. Like, um, for this particular time, my sister had, so I got two sister stories. So my sister had gotten married. This is gonna be blood, ain't thicker than water. Um, so my sister had got married, and she had married. It's funny, like it's a small world. So she had married my best friend's friend, like my best friend's best friend dad. So and to this day, I still consider her like one of my nieces, and I love her. I'm so proud of her. She's doing great. But nonetheless, she had married him. And for this particular situation, I'm just call her my niece. My niece had went to, which I call her that anyway, or by her name. But she had went out of the country somewhere, and she had went on a trip, and she had actually was preparing to take money with her to go out of the country, but she accidentally left it in her car. This is from my memory, which was years ago, but I had my child by then, so I would say it was like early 20s. Um, so she had left it in her car. My sister had ended up stealing her money, and I use the word stealing. My sister, and this is how we got in an argument. So my sister ended up stealing the girl's money, and number one, I was furious because she's a nice girl. She doesn't deserve this, and this wasn't like no little bit of money. This was like, I think, at least $700, like at least, or maybe five at least. I don't know. That's not important. But she stole her money. So I was mad because like the girl's a nice girl. She ain't deserve that. Then it's like your husband's daughter. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Even though she used to do stuff like that to us all the time. Like, I guess it made me even more mad. Like she did it to her. Because it's like whatever vendetta you had against us, like, you know, he done it against us. But I guess if you treat your family like shit, you'll treat anybody like shit, right? So, that happened, and I was already mad about that, and I had never gotten to talk to her about it, because I'm kind of like the person that kind of like will advocate for people. Like, my niece at the time kind of like just, you know, she was hurt by it, and just, you know, I guess forgave her for it or whatever like that. Like she wasn't as mad as I was. And this particular time, like my mom had to, so this probably like was maybe a month or two after this happened. So like I never got to talk to my sister about it. I'm just holding in these feelings. So my mom, and we already got our own bad blood anyway. So my mom though ended up having to help my mom out with one of the utility bills, and they were gonna pay her money back, but my mom didn't feel like going over there to get the money. I remember telling my mom over and over again, like, please don't send me over there. Like, you know, I don't like her. You know, I don't like to deal with her. And my mom was just like, you know, well, just don't go in the house. Just pick the money up and come back. We lived in East End at the time, like, and it's like more towards like Sanston, East End, and she lived in the South Side, like near JD. So like I go all the way over there. Her husband not back with the money yet, so it's like not only, you know, did I not want to be over here because I already knew I knew how I was, like so I didn't want to be over there anyway, and then her husband's not back with the money yet. So even though my mom tells me not to go in the house, like, what you want me to sit in the car and wait for her husband? So she invites me in. We get to talking, and I'm sorry, like that shit came up. Like shit came up that, you know, like, why did you steal that girl money? So she starts to try to like argue with me about semantics of she didn't steal her money, she took it. And I'm like, bruh, you didn't ask for it, so you stole it. So we going back and forth about whether she stole it or took it. And to me, I feel like you stole it. Taking is when you do it in somebody's face and you just like bitch them or something. But like she wasn't there. Like you stole her money. You did it behind her back. And so, you know, like her husband ends up coming in, and his brother, she ends up, this was a trigger for me, she ends up telling the brother, hey, this is my sister, and you know, like she's just like me. And I was like, shit, I ain't just like you nothing, like I got offended by that. And I have a different opinion and outlook on my sister. She definitely lived a rough life, but she definitely was struggling with mental health stuff, and she struggled with drug addiction. And so I have a different outlook on her now than I did during those moments. I can only see her from the lens of the pain that she had caused me and not from the lens of she probably was in pain herself. And but I do always believe, like, before she died, she got her stuff together. But like, we definitely have like some deep traumas that she has caused me and my brother. Like, she has called child protective service on my mom and tried to get us taken away from her. Like, we literally were pulled out of class and school and like separated and talked to. Like, it was one of the most traumatizing things that I've been through. She had actually even one time when my mom let me go over to her house, she was plotting with a friend in the living room right when I was there. I was young, but I was a smart kid. So she was sitting there talking about how she was going to take me away from my mom, and she was going to collect child support from my dad because my dad was in the Air Force. So she was just plotting on how she was going to take us. And then my brother's dad, he had a decent job. So like, she was just going to take us from him, from my mom, and collect the money. And during that time, she was definitely struggling with like drug addiction. So like, I remember even having to call my mom and be like, and I think I was probably like 5 or something, and like, but I was one of those kids, I knew my phone number and all that stuff. Like, but I remember calling my mom. Like, I even remember saying like, hey, you need to come get us, cause she talking about taking us away from you. And my mom ain't had no car, so she had to, you know, figure out how to come get us and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a lot. Like, the first time my mom ever spent a night in jail, and as far as I know, no, it wasn't the first time she spent. Yeah, the first time she spent a night in jail, not the first time she went to jail. But the first time she spent a night in jail, it was because of my sister. Her and her had got the fight. And so it's just like, I grew up seeing my sister as this villain. However, I do know, like, now that I'm grown, like, my mom had her when she was 17. She probably made a whole bunch of mistakes. So, however, that does not warrant, you know, how she's treated me, my mom, my brother, her kids, over the years. However, I do have a better understanding for it. But at that time, when I was in my young 20s, I did not. You know, that argument escalated from her comparing me to her, because she was shiesty. She was shiesty out here in these streets, and I did not want to be compared to her. We got into some sad words. She used to always feel like all college girls was whores, and I'm just like, you know, you real life hoeing, so like, leave me alone. And you know, we went back with different words and shit like that. So which I have no problem with people's sexual promiscuity, sexual freedom. But she was accusing me of shit like that wasn't mine to wear. And so we quickly got into an argument. I'm crazy when I get angry. So like, it almost got to a point where like, she got hurt. And I'm happy that it didn't. Her husband definitely like got in between us and hurry up and gave me the money, because that's what the fuck I was there for anyway, and he should have just gave me the money when he got in the goddamn house. But you know, gave me the money and I was able to get out there. And while we were arguing, that's all she was talking about, calling the police on me. And you know, because I was in her house, and I learned a valuable lesson with that lady. Like, you know, never argue with people inside their house. Get the fuck out their house, because I'm crazy. And you know, I don't want to mix my craziness with other people's house, because they will have the upper hand when it comes to that. So yeah, and she's been blatantly clear in the past that, you know, she bragged about like her husband didn't have a record, and that she was the reason that he ended up having a record. So I definitely felt like that on that particular day she wanted me to do something to her. She definitely wanted me to do something to her that day. And I thank God that I did not. And definitely me in my young 20s, I definitely was still learning how to control my anger. So I feel like I'm cool now. I still deal with anger, have anger, but feel like I don't want to give people the power to make me black out and do crazy stuff. So that should be only done in pure survival. Like it is me defending myself against someone trying to hurt me. And not just my perceived notion that someone's trying to hurt me. Like somebody physically is trying to hurt me. So that was sister number one. Sister number two. Sister number two was a long, I feel like it's Lemony Snicket's and the unfortunate events. Like it's this long story about unfortunate things happening, right? So sister number two, which she's not sister number two far as order, but she's sister number two far as almost getting a record over. Still a lot of trauma there too. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna be honest. Shit, I've been telling the truth about every fucking thing else. So my dad had kids by one of his cousins. Actually, like my grandma used to always say when I was younger, I remember was always, make sure people are not your family. And like to this day that I'm grown, I chuckle and be like, but they met at a family reunion. So like, hey, somebody out here has incest in their family, and I hope you know you're not alone. A lot of people is covering this shit up, but yes, I'm one of the people. I have a sister cousin, and however, like I never treated her any different because she was, from incest. I do feel like a lot of the family members definitely drank my dad's Kool-Aid and did shun them, but I never looked at them as any different. So that's that. But yeah, so we did not like grow up consistently with each other, but like I did know that there was my sisters and all that stuff. So where do we go? Okay, so we end up reconnecting once I got older, because I did not have a good memory of them when I was younger. Like when I was younger, I felt like they used to, because I was very small, like they used to have like the sister that, she wasn't my sister, but she was my cousin. But it was their sister, and they would get her, she was bigger than me, they would get her to like bully me and all that stuff. And when I was little, like, I ain't had my heart all the way, but I probably could have whooped her ass, because like I was getting trained by my brother that was 7 years older than me, so I was like really strong when I was little, but I did not like hurting people. So like she would bully me and shit. And so I think like they might have had like a preconceived notion, like I was still that same little bitch little bitch girl that they met when I was little. And like, no ma'am. However, I will say I had a soft spot. And when I have a soft spot for you, in the past, you could take advantage of my kindness. So for this situation, like we ended up losing my sister on New Year's. She was unalived, and that always has hurt me to the bottom of my core since it happened. I remember that like it was yesterday, getting that phone call that she was no longer with us. And it was weird because I had just spoke to her like probably like a day or two before she had passed. And I'm happy that I did. So, and I actually, me and her, I had a better relationship with her than I do with the sister that was alive. That with the sister that is alive. So, Anyway, I had a soft spot for her because my sister that was alive, because she had lost her, sister that she obviously was close to, and closer than I was. And my sister had left behind a child, and helping she was helping my sister's mom, and my sister were taking care of the child. And so when my sister passed, like, I always felt like I wanted to make sure that, like, my niece got the thing she wanted, from me if she asked me for it. And I kind of carried it like that, where, she was able to ask me for stuff that, she could get it. I tried to be as involved as I could. Mind you, I'm a single parent, and none of the aunts and uncles were aunt and uncling. I would say, like, my oldest sister probably was more of an aunt. Not my oldest sister, but my second oldest sister. But my oldest sister on my dad's side, she was more of like an aunt. But she also had her own child too. But she was more of an active, like, aunt to my child than any of my siblings. Yeah, most of my siblings were not aunt and uncling. My brother on my mom's side, he was birthday, like, holidays, do stuff like that. But, like, I'm talking about, like, nobody was coming to get her, like, do you want to do this and do that and all that stuff. So, however, I tried to be that aunt to my niece, like, and not saying that I did that shit, like, consistently, but for me to be a single mother, I was doing it. So, and I'm not going to talk about the things that I did. That's neither here nor there. Just know that I was trying my best to be an active participant in the whole show. And I used to have dreams where my sister would come and visit me, and I had lost a friend from a car accident. And, like, one time both of them came and visit me, and it was funny because they both love purple and butterflies. So it was just, like, it was a cool little dream with them. And I remember in that dream, my sister was like, look out for her daughter. So it was just something that always stuck with me, and I tried my best. There was a situation where, like, well, with her mom, like, from my childhood, I remember her mom being mean to me. And I think that was more of, like, there was this jealousy. Like, I don't know. I grew up with jealousy. But I think, like, everybody thought, like, my dad, like, because my dad had multiple kids, like, people thought my dad was being a dad to me. Maybe he was going around telling people he was, but my mama fucking took care of me. My mom and my stepdad. And so there was, like, this unfathomable, like, thing that, like, maybe I had favor for him, which I will say this, my dad did show favoritism as far as bragging about me. But as far as taking care of me, he didn't do anything. Literally, he would pick me up when she was in the picture. Like, he would drop me off on her. But, like, he wasn't, like, ever a fucking dad. He wasn't financially consistent. And yeah, I don't know what people thought or whatever, but definitely was some jealousy. So I do remember being treated mean by her mom and my siblings at that young age. But I think they was following the lead of, adults or whatever. But I don't know. However, once I got older and meeting their mom, like, me and her bonded, connected, and, bygones was bygones. I love their mama. She was definitely nice, and I felt like, she did the best she could with what she had with them. If they wanted to be mad at anybody, they needed to be mad at the fathers that abandoned her. So yeah, there was rumors about, like, how they treated their mom, which I won't get into, because it's he say she say stuff. So, however, what's not he say she say is how I got taken advantage of. So my sister went through a whirlwind of events. And I remember multiple times sticking up for her. It was a time where my dad had hit the lottery, and I had just had a nervous breakdown. I was vocal about I had a nervous breakdown with my family, and like I said, it was so fucking unsupportive. And I say that because you're gonna need to hold on to that thought. And when we get to another point in the story, which we're 25 minutes in, and I haven't gotten to the juicy stuff. So yeah. So yeah, my sister was going through a lot. Her mom ended up passing away, which even before her mom passed away, she treated her fucking horribly. And I saw this for my own self. I got to witness this for my own self. Treated her fucking horribly. However, she was the child that stuck by her mama said. Even after her mom had some spats. Her mom wasn't and this is not he say she said. Her mom actually like sat down and talked to me about this. She tried to involve me in it, but I already had my own child and I wasn't trying to get involved because I just couldn't handle any extra responsibilities. But her mom definitely did not want my niece to be in sole custody of her, because it's like her mom had a heart attack, and it was like she kind of knew. Well, yeah, I think it was a heart attack at first, and then she ended up finding out she was diagnosed with like I think colon cancer or something. um but don't quote me on that because I don't know, and then y'all don't even know it. So I'm just saying from my memory. But yeah, so she had sat me down, and she was worried about her granddaughter. And I think my oldest sister on my dad's side, she ended up deciding she wanted to move back to, well, not back to, but she wanted to move from DC to VA. And I guess she was talking with her too, and my oldest sister kind of agreed that my other sister, who was older than me, was probably not being as responsible as she should have because she wasn't helping with the bills at the time and all this stuff. But this is what the mom was saying to us. However, I do know like the sister would try to spin it and say like the mom was lying and all that stuff. Like it was a clusterfuck of shit. However, I tried to be there for my sister and also tried to be there for my sister's mom, which I am that type of person. Like I choose to not get into certain shit if I don't have to, and I don't want to be like, well, I don't want to fuck with you because of that. So typically, I try to just be the peace and the calmness. So I didn't bite the bait on that one. I did not get involved with it, but however, my sister did, and she did end up getting. They I think had joint custody of my niece, and the mom moved in with my sister. Well, I think the mom had moved in with my sister but didn't want to help out with living expenses and stuff like that. She was still helping her daughters instead of paying my sister like partial like living expenses. And my sister felt slighted and felt like, well, if you're gonna still help your daughters out financially instead of like paying for the roof that's actually over your head right now, like you need to go live with your daughter. So that ended up happening. However, my sister, and this is from me telling this story because that part I wasn't like super into. But this is from like my sister's perspective of telling me. But so my sister ended up giving her like, she wrote her a letter and gave her like a notice that she needed to go ahead, because it was weird because she had got evicted because my sister that was her daughter wasn't actually helping her with the bills at the house that at the apartment they had prior to, and my sister was like basically trying to move out anyway. And because the mom had given her a notice to vacate because she wasn't helping with bills and she was just living her best life, so she said. And so my sister had moved out, and then the mom had got evicted but moved with my sister, and the daughter was with the mom and my older sister. And so All right, I'm back. So, yeah, so that ended up happening. My sister's mom ended up moving back in with her, and she took care of her until she passed away. Um, there were times, like I said, I was having a nervous breakdown. My sister would say like she needed her phone bill paid. That was one time. I ain't gonna say times. She needed her phone bill paid. Mind you, I ain't got shit. Still would help her. My mom was like, "You crazy," and it was so many times like when my own mother was like, "You need to stop," and my mom was like, "She taking advantage of you," and I was like, "I know." But she has my niece, so I ain't thinking about just her. I'm thinking about my niece. Um, anyway, so like I just always had a soft spot for that situation. So then when she lost her mom, I had an even more soft spot. Um, so and she would do things like, okay, I paid her phone bill instead of giving me my money back, which I'm the type of person, if I do something for you anyway, like I'm not gonna say like if I say give me my money back, like I would say like I'm down real bad. But that particular time I was down bad, but like I was just like, you know what, it ain't that serious. Like she losing her mom. Like I think her mom was on hospice and stuff. Like it's not that serious. Like if you need help, um, I'll do it for you. So, but to me logically, like I'm the type of person like when her mom passed, she got money back. I don't know how much money back she got back. I don't give a fuck because I don't believe in counting people's pockets. However, instead of her giving me my money back, she went to Bath and Body Works and bought me some fucking perfume. And most people would be like, yeah, you should be grateful. But like, nah, bitch, you could have given my money back. I got my own perfumes and shit. I don't wear those. So, and I do wear them. But like, I don't give a shit about a lot of shit. Like, I've been there, done that, spent my money on, the things my heart desired. And like, it's just like, I got my certain shit. And like, I don't care about other stuff. So, when she did that, like I know she was, I guess in her head saying she did a nice gesture, but I'm like, bitch, you could have gave me my money back. Like that's what you could have did. But I ain't say shit. And that's where I'm gonna say I was being a coward. I was putting not hurting her feelings before my own feelings being hurt. So instead of me saying, hey, you can take this perfume and keep it, could you give me my money back for the money I gave you for the phone, like bill? I didn't do that. I just looked at her sideways like ill. And not only did she give me perfume, like she gave me perfume and her sister perfume, and it was like, you know, it was like a joint gift, and it was like it wasn't, it wasn't. Nigga, I need the money. Like I'm down bad. Like I'm not working. Like I need the money back, but I did not vocalize or verbalize that. So I would eat that.